The vectors A, negative 1, 4, B, x, y, and C, 3, 2 are in the same plane. If 3 times vector A minus 2 times vector B equals vector C, find I, the vector B, find II, the magnitude of vector D, and express your answer in the form P root Q, where P and Q are integers, and vector D equals vector B minus vector C. Alright, so let's get down to work. We know three vectors. We know the vector A. Vector A is negative 1, 4. We are putting a scribble under the A because A is a vector. When you write the vector, when they type the vector, they type it in bold characters, but we cannot also deepen it here, so we put a scribble under it to show that there is a vector. And then the vector B2 is xy, and then we know vector C2 is 3, 2. Alright, so we are told that these three vectors are in the same plane, and we are told that if 3a minus 2b equals c, that is 3 times the vector a minus 2 times the vector b is equal to the vector c. Find vector b. Alright, finding vector b means we have to make vector b the subject. So why don't we first let vector b stand alone? Can we do that? Of course, yes, we can. So do you know what I'm gonna do here? Because of this negative sign, I don't like dealing with negatives because they are very difficult to deal with. So I will leave the 3 times vector a on the left side, and I'll bring the vector c to the left. So there will be a change of sign here, and I'll send the negative 2 vector b to the right so that I will have positive 2 vector b. All right, that is cool now. And finding vector b means that I have to make vector b the subjects. In other words, I have to divide both sides of the equation by 2 just to let the vector b stand alone. So I'm going to get something like this. So 2 will cancel 2 neatly. So this means vector b is equal to, let me factorize this out, or let me bring the 2 out. Know that the 2 is beneath this. It is a denominator, so when it comes out, it is not going to be 2, it is going to be 1 out of 2. All right, so I'm going to have something like this: 1 out of 2 times 3 times vector a minus the vector c. So this is what I'm going to get. Perfect. So now I can find my vector b. Let me leave the half here because it is just a scalar, and then I have 3 times my vector a. Vector a is negative 1, 4. So 3 times negative 1, 4, I have it here, minus vector c. Vector c is 3, 2. So let me put 3, 2 here. Okay, that is perfect. So let me leave the half here and deal with what is in the bracket first. So this scalar is multiplying this vector. It will multiply the x coordinate and the y coordinate as well. So for the first one, we have 3 times negative 1, that is negative 3, and 3 times 4, we have 12. All right, here we have minus, so let me put this in brackets still, minus 3, then we have 2 here. Okay, so let's go down to simplify, and I'm going to have this negative 3 minus 3. It is going to be negative 6. Be very careful here. I keep talking about the negative signs. Negative 3 minus 3. This negative sign affects this 3, so I have negative 3. This negative sign also affects this 3, so I have negative 3 and negative 3, that is negative 6. Then here I have 12 minus 2, and that should be 10. Okay, I can now expand the final brackets. So half is a single number, something like 0.5 here. So half times negative 6, so I have something like this: half multiplying the x coordinate here, then I also have half multiplying the y coordinate here. All right, so that is the vector b. So vector b is equal to the last simplification here: 2 here 1, 2 here 3. So I have negative 3 for the x parts, then 2 here 1, 2 here 5, then I have 5. So vector b is negative 3 on 5. Alternatively, if you want to solve it this way, that is also cool. We are finding b, vector b, so you can as well solve it this way. We have been given vector a, b, and c. We are told that vector a is negative 1, 4, so you see it here. So you can write 3 and you put negative 1 4 in that. Then you have minus 2. Vector b2 is xy, so you write that, and vector c is 3 2. So you can also do this. Alright, so from here you are going to have 3 times negative 1, and that is negative 3. 3 times 4, you have 12. And here it depends on what you want to do. Here we have negative 2 here, but you can leave the negative sign here and use the 2 to multiply the x. So you are going to have something like 2x, then 2 times y, you have 2y. You can have something like this, and that will give you 3 on 2. And I want to stress this also here. I keep saying this. Let me sign a line here. Here too, we could have done this from here. That is 3 times negative 1 4, and then minus 2 x on y equals 3 on 2. We could have also done this. 3 times negative 1 is negative 3, and 3 times 4 is 12. But here we could have had negative 2 times x, then we will have negative 2x. But when you do that, the sign here will now be positive. Then negative 2 times y will be negative 2y. Then you have 3 on 2. So whichever way you want to do it, you are going to get a correct answer here. So here we will have negative 3 minus this, so we have something like negative 3 minus 2x here equals 3. So that is the first equation, and we can make x the subject. If we leave negative 2x on the left, we have 3 here. We add 3 to both sides, or we send this negative 3 to the right, we have positive 3. So that is going to be negative 2x equals 6. You divide both sides by negative 2, and then you get x to be negative 3. So the same thing could have been done here using this approach. Here too, we would have had negative 3, that is positive, so we have plus, we have negative 2x here, which is equal to I think here is 3. Okay, yeah, 3. So here is 3. So negative 3 minus this, let me leave the negative 2 here, you have 3 here, send this there, you have positive 6, and you're gonna get the same thing. Oh sorry, you send this there, you have positive 3. So 3 plus 3, you get positive 6. So you divide both sides by negative 2, and you have x to be negative 3. So from here you can now find your y2. If you consider this, that is the second part of it, the second part of the equation, that is 12. So you have 12 minus 2y, so you have 12 here minus 2y equals 2. So you leave the minus 2y here, you have 2, you send the 12 to the right, you have negative 12, and then you have minus 2y equals negative 10. Divide both sides by negative 2, and you get y to be 5. And the same thing will be true for here. You also get the same thing here. So here we will have 12 plus 2y equals 2. Let me see here. We multiplied this by negative 2 here, so here should be negative 2y here, negative 2y. So we are going to have 12 plus negative 2y, so negative 2y here. You have 2, you send a 12 to the right side, we have minus 12, and you have negative 2y equals negative 10. You divide both sides by negative 2, then you have y to be 5. So you could have also solved it this way by putting in the vectors and simplifying from there. That is also cool. So let's look at the II says I have to find the magnitude of vector D and express your answer in the form of this. So that means that after getting it, I have to simplify to get a set. All right, of course I'm going to get a set and I have to simplify it. So let's see how we do that. But it is also saying, so where is the vector D? Okay, from the question, I don't know vector D, but vector D has been defined for me where P and Q are integers and vector D is equal to B minus C. So first I have to find vector D. All right, so II, is that II? Yeah, that is II. So II, first vector D is equal to vector B minus vector C. So where is vector B? Okay, I have found vector B here. vector b is negative 3, 5 minus vector c. Where is vector c? Vector c is known here, 3, 2. So vector c is 3, 2. So I have negative 3 minus 3, and that is negative 6. 5 minus 2, I have 3. So that is vector d. If I know vector d, then I can find the magnitude of vector d. So this implies that there is vector d, and the magnitude of this vector d is equal to the square root of the x part, which is negative 6 squared. And be very careful here. Anytime you are squaring a number, put it in bracket, especially if the number is negative, because if you write negative 6 squared, if you use the calculator to type this, you are going to get negative 36, which is wrong. But the calculator understands is that you are actually squaring the 6 and negating it. But if you do this negative 6 squared, the calculator will get it very well and give you the correct answer, positive 36. That is what I'm talking about here. If you type negative 6 and you square it without a bracket, you are screwed up here because you get negative 36, which is wrong. That is not the idea you wanted, or this was not what you wanted from the calculator. You were actually squaring negative 6. So to get a correct answer, you have to put the negative 6 in brackets. So that is what you have to do. Negative 6 squared, you press on the equal sign and you get 36. So this should be the correct thing here. Okay, all right, so we have negative 6 squared plus positive 3 squared, and make sure the square root is neatly written or drawn. So we have negative 6 squared, that is 36, and this is 9. And when you add this, you're gonna get the square root of 45. So you have to be able to simplify this. Can we get a perfect square in 45? Of course, yes. 9, 5, 45, and 9 is a perfect square. So that is the same as 9 times 5. And then when you do this, this is the square root of 9 times the square root of 5. There is no need to write all of these steps. I'm just doing some set here so that you get exactly what I'm talking about. 9 is a perfect square, so the root of 9 is 3. So 3, we have 3 times the root of 5, and that is going to be 3 root 5. So the magnitude of vector d expressed in the form that we were told, that is p root q, is this. So when we compare this, our final answer, to this p root q, root q, that means this implies that the p is equal to 3, the q is in the square root sign, so the q2 is 5. When you get to this level, the root of 45, and you think you are struggling to do this, you can pull up your calculator if you want. Then you type root 45 and you press on the answer, the equal sign, and the calculator will fetch the final answer for you, that is 3 root 5. Alright, so that is how we solve this question.